Good evening, dear White Out here. We've had a really weird phone call today. And while we talk about that, to talk about it, we have to go back a few steps. When we decided to world school, take the kids away and do all this stuff, we thought, we've got somebody that might buy a house. So when we bought the house, the people that lost out to us, effectively, just to shorten it, put a letter under the door. Said, if you ever think of selling, then, give us a shout because we'd be interested. So we did that, and they went, oh, yes, we are very interested. And we were like, oh, my God, it's going to happen. And it's all going to happen really quickly. We went further down the line. As usual, there was loads of questions and stuff, and it wasn't too bad. But as it got to the end, they would just slowed down and really procrastinated to the point where we're like, this isn't going to happen. And then all this stuff coming out about how their buyers have been waiting like nearly 3 years for them to get out of that house. And then we thought, oh God, they're never going to move. So then we gave them a deadline, said, you get a date by this point, or that's it, we'll put the house on the market. And that's what happened. Their solicitor was actually ringing them every 2 hours on that date, and they didn't even respond to their own solicitor. So at that point, we're like, right, well, we're going to have to put it back on the market. They clearly don't want to move. Okay, we can't do anything about it. Been really, really annoyed about it. If you've seen some other videos, I'm really sort of angry about the whole situation because this shouldn't really be happening in this day and age, should it? And then, so that's 2 weeks. That was 2 weeks ago. We haven't heard a thing, and our solicitor's been asking us, have you heard anything from those? Have you even had a message off them? Because we don't have an estate agent, so we've been doing all the to and fro. We haven't heard anything at all. Nothing at all for 2 weeks. So then I've gone into my DIY mode and I've painted half the house and put a new cat flap in. I've done sorted out the letterbox that I'd thought didn't look very good. So I've sorted out all the little niggly things that I haven't sorted out while I've been living there. You just don't get round to it. So I've done on a whole week of DIYing the house to make it ready for sale. And then we had all the photos done on a nice sunny day and it went up for sale. And this is where it gets weird. We got a phone call today from our solicitor that said those people that were thinking of buying, we couldn't contact, we went all the way down the line and actually everything got signed. They've put forward some dates for moving. And we were like, but surely they know that we've put the house on the market by now. Maybe they don't. I was thinking, this is just nuts. They think, we've given them a deadline, and then they think they can just go past that deadline and just wait, and then 2 weeks later say, oh, I think we've got a date for moving now. So that's what's happened today. Our solicitor said, what do you want to do? And we're like, well, now we've put the house on the market, and we can't back out with our estate agent now because we'll have to pay the estate agent still. Even if we back out and sell to these people. I was just like, are these people, what's wrong with these people? They don't seem to understand that everything's moving faster than they are, and they just ran burying their heads in the sand and like just doing what they want and irrelevant of what everybody else is doing. It's insane. It makes no sense. Which kind of explains something. The woman there's a woman and her husband, and the woman works at a health food shop in sort of local to where we are. We go in there all the time because we use the shop. So last time the other half was in there, she said to her, "Oh, I'm sorry this has taken so long," and my wife was just like, "Well, that's a weird thing to say." So she sort of said, oh, no, we'll just sort of start again then, and walked out. And she didn't understand that comment. At the time, she was like, do they still think that they're buying a house? Do they still think they're moving after all of this kind of bad feeling with, that they've put forward and all the trouble they've caused and the money they've cost everybody? And the answer is yes. They still think they're moving. This is just, I can't get my head around this. It just makes absolutely no sense. They either haven't spoken to their solicitor in the 2 weeks that, we've been beavering on and getting the house ready for sale and actually doing that, they haven't done anything at all. And then to suddenly come back and say, "Oh, I've got this date," I just don't know. I'm so confused. So we've spoken to our solicitor today, and she rang, after she rang us, and I said, "There's absolutely no way in hell that we're gonna move forwards with them now. No chance. They had their chance to buy the house twice, and they've messed the second one up by just massive inactivity. I can't, it's really stressed us out, this. And, we can't be trying to sell to somebody that won't answer the phone, even to their own solicitor, for weeks. We've already had problems with them booking a date for removals. So they've put a date forward for the 11th of August, which is completely useless. By the time they get back, it'll be gone. We know that. We've been through this with them. So, I don't know. I'm just aghast with the wonder of what's going on in their heads. I mean, they just think everybody's going to wait. I mean, their buyers waited for 3 years. And they think we're going to wait for however long for them to get their acting gear to sell. No. That's not happening. That's not how the world works, unfortunately. They've obviously got the odd health problem here and there, but it doesn't stop them working, or it doesn't stop them answering the phone, or it doesn't stop them contacting people. And it certainly, doesn't mean that they can lie to people. So they've lied to us all the way through. Firstly, the phone. Oh, we've got problems with the phone. Doesn't work. Oh, we're going to get a new phone because that doesn't work. And then it's, we can't. We've tried everything, but we can't contact our solicitor. Then when you talk to their solicitor, actually, she couldn't contact them for literally weeks. And then when we put a deadline to the solicitor, she can't contact them at all. It's like they've left the planet and gone to a different one. It's just, I can see that dragging on for, if we went, maybe we'll try and move quicker than we are now. Not a chance. I think now, now the house is on the market, we've already got viewings for the coming weekend, and I think that someone will be able to buy the house, offer on it, sort out all the stuff about the house and buy it sooner than they would actually physically move out of their house after going all the way down the line. So, unfortunately for them, our answer was a definite no. Whether that's actually got through to them, I have no idea. Because our solicitor will talk to their solicitor, and their solicitor will probably talk to a great big hole in the ground for the next 6 months, and they won't answer. I don't know. You just can't deal with people like that. So, we've had enough stress with that. What we want is somebody that actually wants to move and is, they're committed to moving rather than a sort of a glacial approach to it. It's like, so this video is basically me being completely incredulous about how people in this day and age actually survive. I don't know how some people survive in this day and age. Their expectations of other people are obviously either very high or very low, and their expectations of themselves must be incredibly high for them to think that people are just going to stop everything and just wait and wait and wait for literally months and months on end for them to get their act together. We've had enough of that. That's enough. I would rather wait, stay in the UK for another 6, 7, 8 months than sell the house to them now over all of this. Sometimes it's your principles override money on any of those kind of things, and that's how I'm feeling at the moment. Money in this world is far too. It's very grabby. People are grabbing for money all the time. And everywhere I have worked, I've kind of said, money for me is not the most important thing. It never has been. I said that to the last guy I worked for, who, I get on with really well. And I always said to him that money's not, I don't do this because I get money for it. Money is a byproduct of what I do. I do the job. I do forestry because I really enjoy doing it. And if I get paid to do it, then fantastic. So for me, money is a means to an end rather than the end game. Money is useful to have, but I don't think you should be, you should be ruled by it. Because every single person that I've seen, whether they're driving an expensive car, they're in a massive house, they've got 15 caravans, whatever they've got, whatever stuff they have, certainly doesn't equal happiness. You can see that with celebrities. It's actually quite difficult to find a celebrity that looks happy. And the media really enjoy that, because apparently that's good news for them. And then you get this cycle of showing people that are unhappy and people enjoying the fact that some people are unhappy because maybe they don't like them in a certain film. And it's kind of a snowball effect where society's like generally unhappy no matter how much they've got. And we've sort of discovered that the more we've got rid of, the happier we've become. Now I've cleared so much stuff in the house, all this stuff, I had a whole container full of weird machinery that I'd made or built or owned, and I feel lighter. I'm so much lighter after getting rid of it all. And that's the key, isn't it? We're going to leave here with almost nothing, and we're going to feel lighter as a family and just free. That's our end game. That's definitely our end game. So to try and sell to somebody that has got so much stuff that it's going to take them 3 days to move and is so self-absorbed that they think everyone's going to, wait for them, that's certainly not going to happen anymore. So that phone call was a bit of a surprise. Excuse me. And they've upset us quite a bit, really. It's hard to get across how frustrated I am by these people, to the point where we were sleeping on the floor. We have been sleeping on the floor for it was at least 2 months, and the kids were fed up with it, and my other half was fed up with it, and I quite enjoyed it. I was like, quite like sleeping on the floor, having a bad back for so many years, and suddenly my back's actually pretty good. It's because I've been, sleeping on a hard floor potentially, and I found in the past that has helped. And I didn't have an issue with it, but the rest of the family did. So what we've had to go and do is go and buy some more second-hand beds. Actually, that's not true. We had to go and buy a double bed with it had a memory foam mattress on it. And I don't find it that comfortable. I'd actually prefer to sleep on the floor, but it's keeping the wife happier. And that's, I suppose, the key for that one. The kids' beds are actually free. So we got 2 singles for nothing with mattresses, which are in pretty decent nick, actually. So, but we've had to go and buy beds, spend a day driving around with the van, collect all these beds up, and then come back and put all the beds up. So we can, because we were quite knackered from not having particularly good sleep. And that being compounded by the stress of these people sort of, whatever they were doing. Who knows? So we've actually gone backwards. We're probably 6 or 7 months behind after we were a week before leaving. So we've gone back that far. So whether we're going to get out before it starts getting cold again, I don't know. It's probably, my guess is probably October now. And it's really put a spanner in our works, because we're at the point where we're literally just going to clear everything out the house, and we don't had nothing at all. And that's not really very fair, that, to then wait and procrastinate. So, like I said in the last video, what we were going to do is try and find a camper. And I was going to sell the van, and we're going to go in a camper. But that's kind of taken a back seat now as well, because I put the van up for sale, and I've had absolutely no interest at all. I mean, admittedly, it's what we're on now. 294,000 miles. It's had an engine halfway through that, so the engine's on 150,000, and everything's been replaced. So it's pretty much a new van at this mileage. The only thing it isn't is the body shell. But still, there's been absolutely zero interest. Well, actually, that's not true. I think there was a man from French Guyana. He was interested, but that was in French, and I couldn't really understand exactly what the message was. And then I had another one from a French guy that would message me asking about it. Again, it was in French. I couldn't really understand what he was asking. And then the next one was from it was an Arab, a load of Arab writing on which I definitely couldn't read. So I had interest from other countries, but nothing in the UK, weirdly. So in the end, I thought, well, this is pointless, isn't it? Loads of watches. I put it on eBay as well, and there's loads of watches for it. And I just thought, like, 30 or 40 watches. And I was like, it's a rare four-wheel drive van, so people are watching it, but nobody's got any money, or nobody wants to pay for it. So we just thought, oh God, we're going to be here. If there's no driving around in a big camper van's probably not ideal anyway. So I've taken it off. I've decided not to sell for now, and we're looking at cheap trailer tents, between £200 and £400. Then we can all sleep in it, and then we can all go to. There's some of these festivals I want to do with what's remaining of the summer. We can salvage that. I can spend some time at, maybe if we can get 2 or 3 sort of smaller festivals in with the kids while the summer's still here, in relative comfort in one of these sort of trailer tents that they fold out and you've got 2 bedrooms and the kitchen and stuff. It's quite good. Absolute bang on value for money actually compared to buying camper vans or new tents, that sort of thing. So we're looking at doing that. That's the sort of the new plan, and I think that's the plan that's probably going to work, because it's not going to cost us much money, and it is going to allow us to go all over the country with sort of ease, while having somewhere you can sleep and you can drive around in your vehicle. It's not tied to where you're camping. So that's probably the plan that's going to work. So I've already looked at one trailer tent, which it wasn't really suitable, I'll be honest. There was a few holes in it, and the tyres were all perished and cracked and things like that. So I'm looking at it from now a non-repair point of view, because everything I ever buy, I look at it and go, oh, yeah, I know I can get that cheaper because that needs repairing and that needs replacing and this needs doing. This time I've decided not to do that. I didn't want to go replacing tyres, repairing canvas, all these things that need doing. I just want one that works so we can go away from the summer. So I've decided to hold off and try and find something a bit better. I'm just trying to hold back my DIY kind of tendencies of, oh yeah, I can get that fixed, I can get that cheaper, because quite often stuff's more expensive than you think, and yes, you can fix it, but you don't win in the end. So it's better to try and find something of decent quality first. So I think we'll do that. So I think that's really our plan for the summer, to be honest, is now we're not selling to these people for obvious good reasons now. I think we'll go and do that. We'll go away from the summer in something relatively cheap, and that means when the time comes, if nothing sells, we can just give it to somebody when we leave the UK. So there we go. I'm following quite a few other people that are doing a similar thing, leaving the UK, and everyone has got a plan, and their plans seem to be going forwards a lot quicker than ours, and it's purely because this housing issue we've had. In hindsight, maybe we should have just put it on the market and then it would have gone on quicker, but sometimes you think, oh, this is meant to be the way it is, but it's obviously not. And something else has come out of this as well. My daughter has had problems with her teeth, which I've mentioned in sort of videos further back. She's got her adult molar teeth at the back, and she's still got some of her baby teeth at the front as well. And all of her teeth are perfect, even the baby teeth. But she's got 2 molars that one's got a hole in and one of the top's totally missing on it now. And that's within 3 years. And the dentist has basically said, yeah, when they've grown, there's a fault with those teeth. That's why they've deteriorated so quickly. And the first dentist she went to, the NHS one, poked her in the hole and and it hurt with a little pokey thing. And therefore she was terrified of the dentist. And we went back 3 times, couldn't get her to open her mouth even, and thought, oh no, what we're going to do. But as it would have it, we've gone private, and I've phoned all the millions of dentists in the UK trying to work all this out for her. And then found a nice private one in Carlisle, close to where we live, which was recommended by a dental nurse that I actually know. So that's good. And we've been there, and she was good as gold to that dentist. And it's because it wasn't the dentist we were using that poked her and made it hurt. So today we've taken her for an x-ray. It looks like one of the teeth is actually going to have to come out. So, that's disappointing. But there is other teeth waiting in her mouth to fill that gap if they take it out, by the look of it. So that's good. And this was one of the things was actually going to hold us up from leaving as well. So we feel like we're making inroads into that. If we can get her teeth fixed before we leave, because that's critical. We can't go unless that's done. And then the house sells, and then everything's good. We should be more on track, I think. Maybe we try to rush it a bit too quickly before. I don't know. Maybe it's meant to be like that. I don't know. But anyway, that's today's weirdness. Is the unbelievable way that some people go about trying to buy a house. I just don't know what to say else to say about it, really. So we'll leave it there. And I bid you all a good night.